Saddleback Park, a motorcycle playground carved out of the Southern California back hill. Here, a feisty breed of teenager, only recently graduated from the living room Hot Wheel circuit, comes to play a rough and tumble game called Motocross, where a crack-up can mean a split instead of a touch of plastic glue. It demands hair-trigger reflexes, superb physical conditioning, and the kind of courage usually found only in the innocence of youth or the young at heart. Like former basketball great Bill Russell, who's come to learn and perhaps race at Saddleback.
Nowadays, I live in a pretty workaday world. It seems I'm forever cooped up in a plane or in a hotel room. But the bike is my defiance of all of that. I just hop aboard and ride, anywhere. I meet all kinds of people and just, well, feel free. As free as a breeze.
But Bill wanted to increase his freedom, to get off the highways and onto the back trails. So he went to 6'7" motocross champion Gary Bailey to master the art of riding on dirt. The first lesson was how to stop.
This is where you stop the first time, by using the rear brake only. All right? Now, we go back down here. We go approximately 24 feet further back, and this is how much shorter distance you stopped in by using both brakes together. Now, this can mean when you're trail riding sometimes, you know, when you come around a corner and there's a big ditch or a hole or something, you got to get stopped real quick. It can mean whether you stop in the hole or before you get to the hole. And coming into a corner now, if we was to take and reverse the situation, we had a straightaway coming down through here, and you were driving real hard, you and another rider were coming side by side into this corner, charging into there. Now, the rider that has to put on the rear brake only would have to apply the brake back here in order to be able to stop for this corner, where you could keep the power on under full power, charging into the corner, and then braking here, which would mean you could pick up approximately, say, a half a second in 24 feet, which a half a second isn't much time, but you take a racetrack that has, say, 10 corners on it, which most racetracks do, and you pick up a half a second, you're talking about 5 seconds a lap going in just by being able to stop the motorcycle properly over everyone else and what they're using to stop the motorcycle. So the front brake is extremely important in getting the motorcycle stopped at all times.
Shock number one. Gary spun off the starting line and tore up that first hill. And I thought, no way. No way at all. As he went over the top, I half hoped I'd never see him again. But no such luck.
There. All right, put your feet out to the back. Bring yourself out. Okay, go ahead. That was good.
Oh, thanks.
Right there, okay? Now keep yourself leaning forward. Main thing is to keep this right here. All right, give it a little bit more gas.
Well, I finally tried it his way, and it worked. I figured that was that, but it was only the beginning.
All right, that's much better. The thing we're going to do now is try and get it going in a straight line coming up. In other words, instead of wandering clear over this way, set your eye up there in a straight line and try and come off straight. All right, right over the front end.
Better, but not good enough for Gary Bailey. That man kept me running up that damn hill over and over again like I was some kind of rookie taking layups. But I was a rookie. tricky, and after a while I began to get the idea. I was shifting gears smoother, going faster, and straighter. Up till now, I thought of Gary Bailey as just another nice guy. When I watched him out there, I thought, well, I hope he's 100% sure of himself. Because if he's only 98% sure, he's totally nuts to do the things he does. And that I'm just as crazy as taking lessons from him. Watching what he could do with that bike, it became obvious he could do more than talk a good game.
No, goes right.
You know, I've seen a lot of athletes come and go. Some can do it, some can only teach it. But few, very few, can do both.
Next corner.
I began to see Gary Bailey in a different light.
Tell me, what do you kind of think about motorcycle riding, physical part of it versus basketball?
I think that riding motocross takes more concentration than playing basketball. And then the mistakes are not, you get, you know, if you make a mistake in basketball, the guy gets a free throw.
Yeah.
You make a mistake here.
It's constant concentration here. You know, you've got to have, you can't afford mistakes. There's so many riders that are all going so fast. And there is a risk there if you make a mistake that you get hurt bad too. You know, it's not like a guy just goes up and takes a free throw, like you say. You know, when you make a mistake, if you go over a bank, it's not, it's not all that easy. But
you know, it's like in most sports, the guy or the team that concentrates the most will make the fewest mistakes and that'll win. And I see this thing here is steady concentration, and the guy that can go to the edge without making a mistake is going to win. Again, that's the guy that can concentrate and knows his capabilities. Now came the course itself.
all right, you were leaning, but you needed the power to keep you up. You never come on with the power. If you don't come on with the power, the motorcycle, once you start leaning, just keeps going. There's nothing to hold it up. You've got to come on with that power to get that back wheel pulling the motorcycle forward.
So I came around again, and this time I thought I handled the curve pretty good. But obviously it wasn't good enough for Gary Bailey. Nothing seemed to satisfy him.
Drive just a little bit harder this time. Only what I want you to do, I want you to get up a little bit off of the seat, okay? And just get your legs working a little bit. Just stay close to the seat, all right? But just let yourself work a little bit so that the motorcycle's taking all the beating and you're not taking any of it, all right?
But I had one advantage, a very good memory. I knew that if I got into a tight situation in the race, I'd remember the right thing to do.
Low gear right here. Come into the corner, you hit low gear, you make the turn, and as soon as you got it straightened up and looking for that corner, right on the gas. Hit it. Start pulling away and catch second gear and drive it on to the next corner. Okay? It's looking good. Looking real good.
Well, that made me feel better, and I felt I was really getting it together. Then came the steepest hill on the course, and it bothered me.
You know, on this section right down through here, Bill, when we come down through here, what we're going to have to do is first of all, I got to get you standing up more on the motorcycle coming down. You're still sitting down and letting your body work with the motorcycle coming down through there. You want to get your legs up and let your legs work with the suspension. So you just kind of stay steady and let the motorcycle work underneath you when coming down through. This will also help you to have more control over the motorcycle and allow you to have a little bit better braking coming down the hill. How do you feel coming down the hill now? I mean, what seems to be bothering you more now?
I can't feel the brakes until they lock up. I haven't got it feel yet. Now, that's the one thing I haven't got yet.
Yeah. Well, if you stay on top of the motorcycle and stay over the handlebars, even if you lock up the back wheel, it doesn't really make that much difference. It doesn't give you the bite and slow you down because it has a tendency to skid the wheel, you know, and it still keeps you moving forward a little bit quicker. But if you get a hold of the clutch so you don't kill the engine, if you do lock up the rear wheel, you can pull in the clutch, let the wheels stay locked up a little bit if they are, and just drive it right into the corner anyway.
No matter how hard I tried to do it right, to stand up, lean forward, let the bike work under me, that big daddy of a hill just bugged me. I was discovering that the entire course was a monster, from start to finish.
Cut it off. I think that's good. You look good coming down. Everything feels good now. I think it's a matter of confidence now, you know, and letting yourself go just a little bit faster because you've got complete control through the whole thing. It's all smooth and clean, and you can't ask for any more than that. It's just a matter of time and experience now is all. I think we'll just move on down from jump here and on down the next hill and go from there.
Sure glad to be up that other hill, I can tell you that. Now it was a day before a race, and Gary ran me through the course at least a dozen times. It was a little like being back with the Celtics before the playoffs. You're dragging after playing an 82-game schedule, and yet you're confident that you'll win. Because, well, you have to.
Tell me, how do you feel?
I'm tired, sore, scared. But other than that, I'm feeling great.
I think we got around the thing pretty well. You've got most of the corners down fairly well. You probably need, coming up out of these corners, like down through here, you can stand to get a little bit harder on the throttle and go a little bit quicker. But I think you ought to do fairly well. They got a beginner's class, you know, tomorrow. I think there's about 6 or 8 guys that entered along with you. And, you know, I don't expect you to win the race.
I expect to win.
You expect to win?
Oh, yeah.
Well, that's a good attitude to have, isn't it? But I think you ought to do fairly well in it. What do you say we go on in and take it easy and get ready for tomorrow and get a good night's sleep?
All right. When I saw those kids the next day, I thought about the difference between young riders and old riders. The kids don't know what it's like to be hurt. But I'd been hurting all week.
You better finish, right? Finish and have a good time. That's the main thing. That's what you're out there for, okay? Good luck. Go on and get it.
As for my race with the other adult riders, I was maybe 50% sure of myself. So did that make me crazy? I suddenly wasn't that sure of any of it anymore. Of my bike, the course, and certainly not the other riders. Top first. But then I lost ground on the first turn and settled midway back in the pack. We charged into the first really sharp corner, and a guy passed me for a second. But I remembered and hit the power. That made me feel good. After 2 laps, I was still locked in the same position. But I kept fighting against the temptation to go faster than I should, telling myself, don't get greedy. Don't go over the edge. Just 2 laps left. But suddenly everything seemed to work against me. My eyes burned with sweat. All at once I felt like an old horse in a field of young colts. And then there was Big Daddy, waiting. And by God, it happened. Even as I fell, I thought, the motor's dead, and no time to pump it. So I squeezed the clutch, rolled it back down the hill, and let it start itself. Now I forgot my aches, my limits, everything but trying to catch up. Then I hit some loose stuff. Marbles, they call it. I was 20 points down late in the last quarter, and now there was just no way. And all that was left was finishing. Just one more corner now, and I'd see the man with the flag. Then Gary Bailey, and after that, a long, cold drink.
Hey, how do you feel? Woo! Hang your helmet on, get yourself some fresh air, man. Well, what'd you think?
Better than I thought it was.
Was it all right? You look good. Hey, how about the start going up the hill? What dared you as first going down the hill? I couldn't even believe it. It was beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. What happened to you coming down the hill over here whenever you fell?
Oh, I braked too hard.
Too much braking?
Yeah, I locked up the back end and I was...
You know, you were in 4th place then. What happened to you second time you come down?
Well, I got caught in the loose stuff over there and turned it.
How'd you feel?
I don't feel like doing it again right now.
Well, I think what we ought to do is get something cold to drink and rest a few minutes. And
Bring back the basketball.
So Bill Russell ends his week at Saddleback. He may well retire to the luxury of his street bike, but he won't forget that brief time when he lived once again in a world belonging to the young, with a lot of laughter and just a touch of defiance.